Okay, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob, and we're here talking about Legion, Season 2, Episode 5, Chapter 13, however you want to look at it. Um, and what, full spoilers, I just watched it. It ended just a few minutes ago, and it just, I don't know how they keep surprising me. How they can take my expectations and just completely flip them to the point where, you know, every week I feel like how can they sustain this kind of just incredible visionary show creation. I thought about halfway through that this was like the most straightforward episode that they'd ever done. It was still visually very interesting, and the music was on point and the acting was on point, and I thought I knew what was going on, and I kept going, maybe this is like just going to be one of those episodes that all television shows have that, could be considered filler. And I from here on out, I am never going to think that this is going to ever just be a regular show. There's never going to be a filler episode or just your run of the mill episode ever. Because what happened here was a complete just mind fuck. Everything that I thought at the beginning was just them screwing with me, or you as the audience, any other person that watches this. And I was aware that things can change in a dime here, but it really just completely messed me up. Like, let's just get into it. When a show that never does recaps has Jon Hamm telling you apparently what happened on Legion, and when you start out like that, I should have just been like, this is okay. And so we just get like, let's just get into it. Lenny is at Division 3, and she's being interrogated by a multi-face guy, which I'm sorry, I love this show and I don't even remember the guy's name. That's terrible. But he is interrogating her because he wants to know, like seriously, none of it makes sense. How does she have a body? Who, like, what are you doing here? Like, she is not a person to be trusted. You couldn't really believe anything that would come out of her mouth, right? I mean, so all the precautions that they're taking in this crazy upside down room, which, come on, when you look back on it now, if you got it right away, good on you. Upside down. Everything's upside down. And so by the end of the episode, everything is upside down. Turn your way of thinking around. So I'm sitting here watching Aubrey Plaza act her ass off, which I'm always constantly surprised. Anything she's in, she's, known for comedy, but there was this like level. Not just what they did with their eyes, but there was this level. I couldn't put my finger on what it was when I was looking at her. There was something about her that wasn't normal Lenny, Aubrey's character. But I was just like, I was thinking, she's a very lovely woman, and she's, aging in a way, that, like, I'm really appreciating how pretty she is. And how, like, and I got like kind of sucked into that thinking. And, Lenny being an unreliable person, she's talking about drugs and her memories and, evading questions like a drug addict does, and, talking about her memories with her grandma, Lenore drinking vodka out of cans and stuff, and just all this other stuff, these things to kind of make you just think, oh yeah, yeah, it's just Lenny, and her desperation, to try to talk to David, and so it's all pretty straightforward here. And then we got some Oliver and Shadow King stuff, and she's saying, she tells them that he knows where his body is, and he's out in the desert and he's going to get it, and you get the second interrogation, sort of, where it's Ptolemy, and he's talking about, he has these great line about there is no present, it's just past and future, because of the time that everything takes, even in milliseconds, to see something, for your brain to register and all this stuff. So there is no ever present. It's always something it has come and gone. And so he starts seeing things when he goes into her memories, things that make him try to strangle her. Seeing the basket head guy, Dr. Fukuyama or whatever his name is, and he leaves the room and he's freaking out. And you get this, like, and it's still pretty straightforward, and you're getting Oliver and Shadow King, they have found his body. I love that they're listening to Lou Reed's song and they're talking about, what's it going to take to, dig up this body, because he's, Oliver's got this nice suit and he doesn't want to ruin it. And, they get to this part, like they're digging up the body, and Farouk is impatient and brings it up, which technically is in Oliver's body. So I guess, I love how they do this dual thing where, it's happening. Is it happening? Is it Oliver doing it? But it's Oliver, but not really Oliver. And it's always just such a screwball mess with your head kind of situation. Anyway, they get the body up, and you also see through the eyes the machine that they took from Division 3 when they went in there and started vaporizing everybody, turning them into pigs and stuff. And they get the body out, and right away I was like, is that Farouk's arm? Like, and I just kind of went away. They were doing something about how much do we need, just a little bit. They take a little bit and then they leave it. And I was like, well, okay, I guess they're leaving the body for some sort of time period, or to do something where, Farouk's body will whatever. Maybe we're just waiting for some, science to start working. And then you get where it's like chapter 6, which is another interesting way they do this show, because when they do it like in the middle of the episode, you realize like it really should just be watched as one long thing, because like even though an episode ends, when they do it like that, it feels like it's just this long stretched out thing, like a really long movie. So like technically at the end of your episode, it's not really over. They just haven't shown you like everything. Like, I love this. And you get John Hamm talking about how humans are always looking for patterns, and that it is, part of our survival with predators and things, and how we need to see patterns in everything. And it goes, talks about coincidence and conspiracy, and how we eliminate the things that don't make, like when we see the thing that doesn't make sense, we tend to eliminate it. About the pessimist who sees harm, and the optimist who sees hope, and the coincidence, that turns to conspiracy. Like, it's just, I'm listening to it and I'm going, oh, this is really interesting stuff. But I'm not, like, they're trying to tell you something But I'm not getting it. Like, I'm really fascinated by what's being said. But I'm not getting it. Because it's just, they're setting you up. They are setting you up. And so you get this weird scene where there's this, like, these guys underground. They're coming up out of the hole to this submarine called Dead Sea Donuts. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Why are those guys under the ground? Is this Division 3? I don't know. But it was like just this weird scene with Oliver and Farouk sitting there having more conversations that are just weird about morality, and how life and like the atoms in this car, if they're really holding this car together and everything going on, like life is kind of irrelevant, you know. I'm kind of skipping a lot of this conversation, but that morality and these two's conversation is great. The back and forth between these guys, the this huge confidence of Farouk with the just very just slickness of Jermaine Clement's character, and him telling him, I'm gonna kill you, you know. I love that. And the whole, like, after, like, they follow this donut truck to this place, this rundown in the middle of the desert nowhere place, but there's guards there. And I'm like, oh, maybe Division 3's under there. And they also have this conversation, like, how you said you're gonna kill me, can you give me a hint and all this other stuff. Like, one, well, yeah, I'll give you a hint. What's 1 + 1? It's 2. No, it's not. But anyway, we get to David finally talking to Lenny. And it's this, just, hey man, like, kind of like long time no see type of conversation. But he's there to get the real truth out of her. And so he starts to read her mind. He knows she's still working for the Shadow King. But he's quickly realizing she doesn't know how she got there. She doesn't know why her eyes are blue when they were brown in her body. And again, like, Aubrey Plaza has so many great lines. My head was in, my ass was in one room and my tits were in another. And he looks into her and he sees something that's just freaks him out. And she's like, no, look, I don't know how I got here. I just woke up. I was in his little drawer that he keeps me in, and I woke up in this body, and here I am. And the way that you just, she really doesn't. He knows this. And then they go back to this place in the desert. And the guy gets out of his donut shop place, his little submarine. He goes inside the house. You get inside the house, and you realize that this is where they've been keeping David's sister protected. And she's messing with some flowers, and her boyfriend, husband, whatever, he comes in and he sits down. And all of a sudden, it just hit me. And I realized in that moment, before they revealed it, I was like, because, Lenny says he has a plan. The Shadow King has a plan. And it was in that moment, like, right before her husband or whatever says, you ever get the feeling that something bad's about to happen? And it was right before he said it that I went, Lenny has taken David's sister's body. And that's why she looks different. That's why she has this matureness to her that I don't know how they were able to, like, Aubrey Plaza is beautiful, but there was like a way that they did her up that I was like, man, she is just, there's something physically different about her. Even though it's Aubrey Plaza. And it was in that second, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, David, they took David's sister and put Lenny inside her with the machine. And, they talk, her husband's talking about that dread and where are the guards. And this was one of the most horrific, intense scenes I've ever seen in television. I knew what was going to happen, but it was like, how? And the way that, the typical, I'm going to go find out who's at the door because there's, ding dong, and, I'll be right back kind of, but you won't be back, scream rules, or horror movie rules, whatever. And she grabs a knife and everything, and it's all tense, and that something terrible is about to happen, but it was just, I didn't know how or what was going to be, and just that haunting silence. And she turns around, and Oliver's in the kitchen, and he's washing his hands, and just, telling her, hey, David's back, and I'm going to take you to him. And when he says, I'm going to take you to him, I was just like, oh my God, yeah, you are. What you're about to do, it was like, you're sending David a message. And not just that, but, so, and then the whole, don't come around here no more comes on, and she's freaking out, and they lift her up, and they put her on that table, and the scream, and the terror, and the rawness of this scene is really effectively scary. Like really, really scary. Because it felt real. Like the horror and the scariness and the absolute what was gonna happen was so palpable that I haven't been affected like that in a while about a tense, scary scene. And just that whole melting of her into Lenny, and just the rending of someone else into someone else, just destroying that person from the inside out, just completely obliterating that person so that they can put something else inside, and using Lenny that way. And just Farouk looking behind the drapes with that creepy look on his face that you can't see his eyes or anything, but how he's looking. He's got that face, that smile. This man is so goddamn evil, but it's played so beautifully. And so when David realizes, and Lenny's like, what? And that realization, that absolute shock and horrifying realization, and just how when he realizes his sister has just been killed in the worst way. Even now, I'm thinking about, it's just can you imagine that happening to somebody that you loved? And that to me is what, when they say you bashed the Shadow King's brains in a week from now, a couple episodes back, this was why. And so it's going to be really crazy to see if David can stop himself from killing him and changing the future. But how do you help somebody that has done this to you? Even though Future Sid, and is this actually more, does that kind of make what Sid, Future Sid, was that even real? Or was this just another ploy of the Shadow Kings? But I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I won't know it until it actually happens. But even then, will I know? Fucking love this show, man. So I guess that's about it. I know I might be missing something here or there, but Oliver's quick look, thinking about Melanie when they were talking about how they were going to kill the humans, and Farouk's talking about Homo Superior and everything. That was really cool. And that's when, to me, when Oliver was decided, I'm going to kill him. If I can. And that's pretty much it. Just unbelievable. 10 out of 10 episode. Aubrey Plaza, Jesus Christ. Farouk, the guy who plays Farouk, I can't remember his name. I've seen him in a million things, and just everybody in it, the music on point, the horror, the tension, more Stanley Kubrick. And I keep thinking as this show goes along how much this is like Kubrick. And I just don't know. I can't wait for the next week. I hate that I have to wait a week. But it's like now like event television for me. Like I turn out the lights and everything. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. 10 out of 10. Just unbelievable. So anyway, I posted my Avengers Infinity War review on here. So hopefully you guys will check that out. I did get a new mic and it seems to be working. I think you can hear me a lot better now, especially if you're watching on your phone. If not, somebody leave that in the comment section. Likes, please like it if you like this video. Again, watch the other videos. I got more of Legion. I got Westworld Season 2. Got some Handmaid's Tale up. Handmaid's Tale Episode 3 review. Kind of an Episode 2 review as well. Should be tomorrow. And yeah. Jesus. Just keeps getting better. Subscribers. Hey man, I got 32. Why don't you hit that subscribe button and help me out a little bit. Again, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm just doing this for fun. But it is nice to know that people are watching by subscribing. So thank you very much. This is Rob again from the channel Smirking Gun. And we'll see you next video. Bye.